The story begins with Twilight, a high-level spy working for the Westalis Intelligence Agency. Short for WISE, predicting an impending war. WISE tasks their best agent, which is Twilight, to stop the war before it happens. And to do this, he must get close to Donovan Desmond, the head of the National Union Party of Ostania, their neighboring country, thanks to Desmond's reclusive nature. As he has never been seen in public, his only social appearances are at a private academy for elites, which his two sons attend. So in order to complete the mission, Twilight must get married, have a child, and enroll him or her in this academy, all in less than 7 days. Twilight makes haste to complete the first step of the mission, which is to acquire a child under the fake identity of Loid, who is a psychiatrist. He goes to an orphanage in order to adopt a smart child. The housekeeper takes him to see Anya, who is secretly telepathic. She then demonstrates her abilities by reading Twilight's mind to complete an advanced crossword puzzle. Unaware of her powers, Twilight is impressed by her intelligence and takes her home. Fixated on completing the mission, he tries to get to know her, but every time it backfires horribly, as she always keeps misreading his mind until he starts thinking of replacing her. Reading this, she starts crying and making a scene, forcing Twilight to bribe her with peanuts, which are her favorite food. Later that day, Twilight was trying to leave the house to rendezvous with his agent, but Anya kept pestering him. Thinking that they will go on a spy adventure together, he ends up locking her inside the house with a crate. Bored, Anya manages to find Twilight's spy equipment and accidentally reveals their location by sending a transmission to Edgar, a minister in Australia. As a result of this, she gets kidnapped. After returning home, Twilight is ambushed by Edgar's men but manages to fight them off just before getting taken out by a surprise attack at Edgar's warehouse. Twilight manages to rescue Anya by tricking Edgar's men using his specialized abilities. He then points her towards the nearest police station, stating that dragging a child into this was a mistake and that the only reason he became a spy was to prevent children from crying about conflicts or wars, just like he used to. Twilight then turns around and goes to confront Edgar about his men, successfully taking them out, then subduing Edgar by blackmailing him using his daughter. After he finished, Twilight got out of the building and was surprised to see Anya still waiting for him, revealing that she read his mind and was impressed by his heroism. She then calls him Papa for the first time. The next day, after receiving a copy of the entrance exam, Twilight comes back home to try to tutor Anya, but she refuses to study. Flashbacks show that Anya was the result of an experiment done by an unknown organization that would treat her as a tool until one day she managed to escape, ending up as an orphan. As a result of her powers, she was adopted 4 times with no success. Although Twilight doesn't know about her powers, he knows about being adopted 4 times. At night, Twilight starts doing research on how to interact with children. He then admits that parents are illogical creatures. On the day of the entrance exam, Anya at first tries to rely on her powers, but she quickly finds that everyone is struggling badly with the exam. But thanks to Twilight's tutoring, she managed to pass the entrance exam. Seeing her name on the scoreboard, Twilight relaxes for a second, just before collapsing from exhaustion. While on the ground, he reprimands himself for dropping his guard, stating that it was his first time ever doing so. In preparation for the school interview, which requires both parents to be present, Twilight at first tries to get his agent to play that role, but they quickly give up on that plan as he is too ugly. Moments later, Scruffy Guy presents Twilight with documents for all single women in the city. He then points out that Anya does not fit the mold of a rich and elegant-looking child, and that he has to do something about it. Twilight then takes Anya to the tailor to buy some new clothes, where he first meets Yor, commenting that he didn't even notice her enter. It is then revealed that she is an SS-ranked assassin who not only promised her little brother but also all of her co-workers that she will bring her boyfriend to a get-together that weekend to get out of an uncomfortable conversation and to cover for herself as a single woman above 27 in the country seems very suspicious. Anyway, Loid remembers her from the documents, although he doesn't know that she's an assassin. York gets annoyed at the fact that he's staring at her, to which he responds that she is just too pretty, making her blush. She then jumps at the opportunity to secure a boyfriend for the party, but quickly backs off after seeing Anya state that a lot of people die because of love affairs and that she doesn't want things to get bloody for entertainment. Anya becomes flabbergasted at the thought of having an assassin mommy. She then unsuspiciously starts saying that she doesn't have a mommy and says that she wants one, giving Twilight the opportunity to tell her that his wife died years ago and that he's a single father. After a short conversation, York flat out asks Twilight to pretend to be your boyfriend at the upcoming party, and in return, Twilight asked her to pretend to be his wife at the upcoming school interview, stating that he only wants what's best for his daughter. Impressing York. On the day of the party, Twilight is tasked with retrieving some stolen arts and jewelry, so he, accompanied by a scruffy dude, successfully manages to retrieve the stolen stuff. After a long, hefty fight, Twilight then steals a ring from the loot to give to York, stating that it is for the mission. Back to York when she got tired of waiting for Twilight. She reluctantly went.
So you finally decided to show up, huh?
I'm sorry. I brought a gift for you.
What's up?
I remember you saying you'd be bringing a date with you tonight.
Stating that maintaining neutral relations with a co-worker is necessary. She then hesitantly tells them that her boyfriend had to work with things coming up and couldn't make it in time. Of course, all of her female co-workers start making fun of her lying about having a boyfriend. But suddenly Twilight bursts through the door covered in blood.
For me to...
Please forgive my lateness.
Mr. Forger, is that blood?
Yes, pardon me, please. A patient had a violent outburst.
Why didn't you tell us you were married? I had no idea.
Then greets everyone as your husband, shocking her as they only agreed on him being a boyfriend. He then apologizes for being late. As one of the clients had an outburst and injured him, York was shocked to see him actually show up and thought he was just some kind of player jealous of your hot, successful boyfriend. One of your co-workers attempts to humiliate her by spilling a plate on her, but thanks to her excellent martial arts skills.
Don't give me
It's
that
my
crap.
fault.
No freaking way that terminally awkward girl has a hot, successful husband. Now this will be uncomfortable. Oh, excellent timing. I just got this piping hot gratin out of the oven. Whoops, I seem to have tripped on something.
Sorry about that.
She easily catches it. Frustrated by this, she then hints to everyone that you used to be a prostitute, as she was always getting calls from clients that wanted massages at hotels.
Did you know that your wife did some questionable work before she started at City Hall? Random men would call you up to their hotel room so you could give them massages. Isn't that right?
I promise it's not what you think, Lloyd. I just...
She sacrificed a great deal. Be it for somebody else's sake, or whatever the reason, having to put up with such a tough job takes real grit and dedication. And that's not something just anybody can do.
Hearing this, Twilight defender say that you grew up without parents and that she had to do everything she could to provide for her little brother, even though the massage calls are just code names for assassination calls. York was very impressed by his kind and understanding nature. Since he already told everyone that they were married, York asked him to marry her for real, as it would benefit them both. Now legally married, York moves in with Lloyd and Anya. Anya wastes no time in showing York around the house, and after some tea, Twilight tests them both using a mock interview of the entrance interview, which they astronomically fail at. Twilight is disappointed at this but still determined to succeed. He takes them out to live a day just like the elites do. While out, they visit a variety of monuments, a 5-star restaurant, and finally a fancy park. York comments that she usually comes here when work beats are down, but suddenly they spot a thief robbing an old woman. York immediately chased after him, but with no success. But thanks to Anya's powers, they manage to spot and catch him. After returning the purse, the old woman thanks them for their help and remarks that they make a wonderful family. Twilight takes the opportunity to thank York for your support, to which Anya calls them out for flirting with each other. That night, Lloyd conducts another mock interview with better results and reassures himself that if it can make the old woman think that they are a family, then the mission still has a chance.
I'll take you